Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Backstage Bimbo TV. My name is Allison Rouse, your most notorious groupie and author of We've Got Tonight, The Life and Times of Notorious Groupie, me. Welcome back, everybody, to my channel, and thank you guys so much for all the amazing love and support. Everybody that's just tuning in or has supported me a long time. It means the world to me, you guys. Really, truly. Makes my days some days. Just to find the love and support here from you guys. I truly, truly appreciate it. And so nice to meet everybody through this channel. It's so awesome. All right. And today we're going to talk about something on our midweek Rocky Talkie that maybe isn't so awesome. Not in my book, anyway. I've had a lot of questions about this, especially with last Sunday's Talk Tales and Rock Tales about Henrik Ostergaard. You know, but of course, somewhere along the line, it's only natural that you would have feelings for each other, you and another rocker. Big mistake. Huge. It's okay to care for your lover and have feelings for your lover. But don't fall in love. No, not with a rock star. Whoops. Me and my hands. So, for today's cocktail, we're going to do the crybaby. Because what do I always say? How do I know I have feelings for a rocker? When I cry when I'm leaving their room. They never see me. But I've done it. Walked down that hotel hallway. Tears running down. Just, what the fuck am I crying for this guy? God damn it. So, everybody, grab your crybabies. Kick up your heels and let's have a Rocky Talkie, shall we? Cheers, big ears. That's so good. It's a nice little tequila-based drink with some orange pineapple juice and some pineapple soda. Really good. I like that. I try and stay away from tequila, though, because, no, I get way too friendly on tequila. Last time I drank that, I was at my friend's 4th of July party, was making out with his neighbors, and they were college boys. At least I'm hoping they were. No, they were. They were of legal age. But I'm too old to be kissing college boys no matter what. But they were hot. Anyway, speaking of hot, the feelings, things we're going to talk about today, it's going to be a real hot topic because, like I said, I get a lot of questions about, did you ever fall in love? Or, like I said, especially with the Henrik vlog this past Sunday, a lot of people commented it's only a certain, natural in time that over time you would have feelings and that type of connection with someone. And to start off with, Henrik was not the first. The first was, I think it's quite obvious, James Hetfield. Yeah, stupid and young as I was, but we all have our first love. We all have that first experience, and James was mine. And what a great experience to have with it, because, a relationship with a rock star is so much more complicated than one with, a guy from your high school or your college, or that you meet even just at a bar, hanging out. Because they're home, and you have this time to build. When you're with a rock star, you don't have a whole lot of time to build this relationship, so you got to get in as much as you can on the days you have together, whether it's the 3 days you initially meet, the 2 weeks you might be out on the road with him, or 3 days, wherever you might be, on the phone, now online, however. So the relationships with rock stars are extremely much more complicated because the temptation, the other groupies, the starfuckers, the band, the industry, all this other stuff. And that when you are with a rock star as a girlfriend or a wife, you may not be their first priority. The band and the business, number one, you come after that. If they have kids from a previous relationship, you're on par with that. Or you come after that, and that's okay. It's okay to come after the kids. But you're also dealing with a whole different level of trust and communication. And including each other in the relationship and creating a habit and a bond. But you can also tell when those habits are being broken, and you know what's going on. There's always the silence on the other end of the phone. Just dead silence. If you're talking to your rock star man and there's dead silence, 20%, 30%, 80% chance there's a groupie in the bed with him. He's going, shh. A lot of us groupies have been there, whether we knew it or not. Just like when John passed away, one of the things he said, don't answer the phone if it rings, because it was his ex-girlfriend Lisa, which they had already broken up by that time, but the press didn't get that story. So, yeah, don't answer the phone means if they call the hotel room back in the day. So the first rock star, let me get back on track because I know I kind of wander off sometimes. The first rock star I really fell for was James Hetfield. Even the first night he and I were together, when we were standing down in the hallway just talking and actually getting to know each other, I knew I had more attraction to him. As the night went on, more and more attraction. I did walk out on him because I wasn't going to be his jump off. I wasn't going to be his, skullfuck back lounge Betty type girl. And that's one of the reasons he fell for me, because he knew I knew who I was. I wasn't taking no shit. And he liked that about me. Because no. Two of us are in that bed, we're both getting our yah-yahs off. Gotcha? But as time went on, the more time I spent with James, the more we kind of bonded. Of course, we're spending more time alone together. It's just like dating, except it's in fast-forward motion. Because like I said, if you go out on the road with this guy, your second or third date with him, technically, you're living together. You're never 20 feet apart. So you're kind of already in this relationship, and you have to have a real big like and comfort and trust and communication. So you're in these mini relationships all the time, which are easy to deal with. You still care for this person, but you can still go on and care for your next lover, just like they will theirs. And that's okay, things are always cohesive when you care deeply for your lover, but you don't complicate things. But when things do get complicated emotionally and you just don't have control over it, it's just too much for me, too hard with the rock stars. It is, because like I said, there's a constant 24/7 worry that, oh my God, is he going to be safe out on the road? Is he going to be faithful and loyal? And faithful and loyal are really kind of two different things, but the same thing. He can be unfaithful, but still be loyal to you and to your relationship, and protect it and defend it, and not destroy it with this unfaithfulness on the road. That's what backlounge Bettys and starfuckers are good for. Groupies and road wives, yeah, that's your big worry, because they're having a deeper relationship with your man. And that for me was always the biggest worry. It wasn't about the sexual antics that were going on. It was, what if he has another road wife like me? And this was with James specifically, because this was my learning curve of falling for musicians. And that's what always worried me, the emotional connection they may have with someone else that they have with you. Sexual, it's never really a connection. If it's just sexual, you can get your yah-yahs off. But once you have that emotional connection, the sexual connection becomes more significant and deeper. So I kind of learned that on the road, because James had another woman out there before me, and she showed up at a couple, unannounced, uninvited, at a couple places I was. That was not fun. And as a lady, you try to handle it the best that you can, because she's in the past. She doesn't know about you, so she kind of just made an ass out of herself. But James was still loyal. He might not have been faithful to our connection and our feelings, but he was loyal. And that was important to me, but so is being faithful. Because it's not just a physical faithfulness, it's a communicating, a faithfulness to trust, to communication, to that loyalty. So, and you can't always count on that with your man. Because like I said, the band's going to come first, kids, stuff like that, and that's okay. I'm not knocking that. Kids are amazing, and they should be put as a priority in their fathers' and mothers' lives. But like I said, when you are separated, it was really hard learning that was kind of the moment that really broke the glass for me as far as James went. And my continuing love for him and vice versa. What was going on between us, this unrequited and crazy and annoying shit. You know, because it got complicated and it got too serious and it got so not satisfying in any way, because yeah, you were constantly worried, or that I would say the wrong thing in front of him because we had had fights about what my groupie lifestyle was, you know, that he never cared for the games we played. Lars didn't care for it for Danny either. So when that came to an end, you know, I took all the lessons that learned with that. And then I learned even more with Henrik. And then I met Vinnie Paul. That one was so goddamn unexpected because Vinnie was unexpected. And to have that chemistry when you see someone walking down a hallway and you both just get these fucking fireworks and shit. Oh my God. No. And somewhere along the line after Vinny, I met Steve Jones. And these are the rockers that I had feelings for. And I know Steve probably had some sort of feelings for me because he doesn't keep a woman around for 5 years if he doesn't. But neither of us were at that point in our lives willing to admit any of that. And now is the first time I really do admit it. That, yeah, I had feelings for Steve Jones. I had feeling for Vinny. But for me, after Henrik especially, I had to just close myself off to rockers like that. Because, like I said, it was just too complicated. It was too much for me to really take on a real relationship outside of... And my relationships were absolutely real. I know these guys in intimate ways, and mentally and emotionally, that most people will not. I took care of these guys. They took care of me. These were real relationships. And I do care about my lovers so, so much. So very much I do. And you do have a love for him. But like I said, with Henrik, with James, with Vincent Paul, and with Steve, it was something more that I knew that I was in deep shit with. I mean, I had such a connection with Steve, and this is the first time saying this, that I would have these very intense, vivid dreams about Steve Jones. And I can remember them all to this day. I mean, just so intense. Like, we would just be sitting there talking normal, just hanging out, wake up the next morning. Guess who would call? Yep, Steve Jones, every single motherfucking time. Even years after we quit being lovers, even, you know, still, and that's the kind of connection that, you know, I also had with Vin. Like, I remember the night Dime was in Mayhem and everybody. I'm actually filming that today on December 8th, so, you know, really thinking about Dime and stuff a lot today, and that was a point that changed Vinny's life and really changed our relationship and kind of ended it. And understandably so, because Vin changed as a human being. But, God, what was I saying? Sorry, guys, I get off track, as you guys know. But, you know, by the time I got to Vin, I couldn't tell him my feelings, which kind of probably inhibited our relationship from going into a different aspect than what it was. Because in the long run, it was always me keeping these rockers at arm's length, because I didn't want to go through the pain that I had gone through after James, my first love, or with Henrik. So, you know, with Steve and Vin, I didn't go through that kind of pain that I would have gone through with the boys, because I am so good. I'm a Virgo. I am good at being a cold ass bitch and not letting my emotions get into it. Because when I do let my heart go, big mistake, huge. Even recently, just done. Like, you know, and I always said I would never marry a rock star because, like I say, they are great lovers, they are great friends, they're chivalrous to a fault, they are respectful, and they are protective, but they are shitty husbands. And I learned that very early on. I was very fortunate in my rock and roll life to get that lesson. And so I was able to keep my emotions in check most of the time. Now, the one guy I don't talk about that I was with for 13 years, we tried the last couple years we were together to have a full-blown, he kind of did that because one night he was off doing some TV show like David Letterman or something, The Tonight Show, and he had his tech babysit me. So he flies in, gets into Salt Lake City about, and this is after John died, because like I said, this is 13 years. So gets in, and I'm sitting in the room, standing on the balcony having a cigarette, and in walks 13 years. I'm not going to name him. I don't talk about him in the book. Nothing. Because it is too fucking complicated. And I don't talk about the emotions in the book because I didn't want my book to be complicated. I don't want to remember some of the feelings that I've had that were way too complicated. I like to move on from them. But with this 13 years, he walked in the hotel room and the balcony just happened to be across from the door where he walked in. And I had another friend with me, and there was a couple other guys in the room. And I remember looking up and just, after like 10 years of seeing this guy, fireworks just went off. Like, God, I keep doing that. Went off in my belly. And I thought, oh, Jesus Christ, I'm fucked. And I was. Because one thing that really, it lasted another 3 years, but the last year was really horrifying, and I count it because we weren't really together as a couple. He pulled some shit, and then legal action had to happen over. Anyway, one of the reasons I don't talk about it. But, and another lesson that I learned, that I don't want my relationship with the rock stars to turn ugly. Yeah, of course they're going to end. They just fade naturally and you become a different entity to each other. You become friends that have dinner and have a drink at the hotel bar and go your separate ways, enjoy the show, reminisce, kick back. And it's consensual. It's from both sides. You know what I mean? And that's the way I like my relationships to end. Just on a natural note. So when you get into the deeper heart and soul of relationships with rock stars, it always turns ugly. And it leaves such deep scars. And I can't listen to 13 years as music anymore. Because I'm not going to name him. He will always be 13 years. I can't listen to the music anymore. I can't go to their shows anymore. I don't get to see my friend that I had for 13 years. The one person that I know, we were always so honest with each other and saw each other through different relationships and different endings and phases of our life and everything. So I could always call him up and be like, hey, what's going on? If we were still a couple or not. You know what I mean? We always gravitated back to each other. But then when he tried to make it into this full-blown relationship and living together and all this stuff, it just went so fucking south. So fucking south. Yeah. And this is why I don't get into deep relationships with the rock stars as far as committed long-term. I mean, I have long-term lovers. I have the long-term relationships with rock stars as lovers. Because like I said, a lover isn't just someone that you jump into bed with. A lover is someone that you can be your whole self with. That you don't have any complications because you're honest. And that's the way I prefer my relationships. Even my last relationship with the normal boy that I grew up with. He lied from day one. I don't lie. I've never had any reason to lie because I've always been able to have these open relationships. So when I do get into a committed relationship, I have nothing to hide. I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to joke about or to use anybody for. And that's another perk of having the lover relationships that I've had, where yes, of course I care about him, but I'm not going to get my heart completely broken. And that was the whole, you know, rock and roll was about having fun and not having your heart broken and not having things turn ugly and always being a good time. And that's also what a groupie's about as well. So I learned so early on with James how to discern my relationships and how to keep them at that specific arm's length. So yeah, the handful of times, considering all the rock stars, my whole life that I've met, that I've been with, that I've had these lover relationships with, that, you know, of course I'm going to fall in love. And there's been a couple times where I felt that I ghosted them, never saw them again. I'm like, nope, not going through this. So, you know, it's not because people think because other groupies make these faux relationship claims and that they were so significant, that my relationships with the rock stars have no meaning. And they do. And they are all full. God, there is emotion attached to every long-term relationship that you do have. And I'm okay with that. But at a certain arm's length. Don't fall in love with everybody you fall into bed with. Number one rule. You can care about them, and they can care about you. And that was kind of my philosophy in rock and roll. So yeah, of course, the few that I fell in love with, which I've named here, 13 years, yes. I loved 13 years. For 12 of those 13 years, because the last year, nobody could have loved that. I loved James. He was my first love. Henrik was my second mistake. No, he wasn't a mistake at all. At all. He was a wonderful man, just too chaotic in his own emotions. Completely loved Vincent Paul, but had to keep him at the arm's length because otherwise I couldn't imagine what his fiance, his life partner went through when he passed away. And we didn't end up on that great of a note either, because he threatened to sue me over the book, which he didn't. He backed off on that because he knew he couldn't. So, and then Steve Jones, biggest mistake to fall in love with the biggest slut in rock and roll next to me. But I think if Steve and I would have been in different emotional places in our own lives at that time, we might have worked out. Who knows? Oh, there's my kitty. Everybody say, hi, Zuki. Hi, Zukalicious. He's been sleeping in our new place. He loves it. So anyway, there you guys go. There's some babble. Like I say, I know I kind of go off on juggernauts and different paths with stuff, but that's me. It's all one long, big, complicated maze of a story. And why I really don't fall in love with rock stars, because they're amazing men. They're some of my best friends. And I don't want that kind of hate and heartbreak to destroy our relationships. You know? And I'm very lucky, like I said, to have the kind of lovers that give honest communication and 50-50 and trust and everything that we lose in deeper relationships that go further than the lovers. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do want a long-term someone that I can spend my life with, but it's hard when normal men only see you as an object. And you don't want to marry the rock stars, but then here I am, stuck in the gray area. As usual. But maybe I like gray. So, anyway, thank you guys again for tuning in, for really supporting my channel. I love you guys so much. I can never tell you how much I appreciate you guys for all your love and support. It makes everything so awesome. So go ahead and share. If anything, share so we can see more of Suki. Say hi, Sukalicious. He's not listening. He's old and ornery. But yeah, so share, hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit my bells, And join me on Sunday for some more cocktails and rock tales from my new location. Because this is not my first one that I filmed. It's my second one. The first one's funnier. But that'll come around on Sunday, so we will see you guys on Sunday. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers, big ears. Don't forget to subscribe and share me. Thanks, guys. Have a great week.